एक घर में परिवार के एक सदस्य के लिए एक कानून हो, परिवार के दूसरे सदस्य के लिए दूसरा कानून हो, तो क्या वो घर चल पाएगा क्या? कभी भी चल पाएगा क्या? फिर ऐसी दोहरी व्यवस्था से देश कैसे चल पाएगा? हमें याद रखना है कि भारत के संविधान में भी नागरिकों के समान अधिकार की बात कही गई है।
The Uniform Civil Code has finally seen the light of the day, and as expected, the barrage of misinformation and criticism from the so-called secular and democratic folks has started coming up. Uniform civil laws ensure that all citizens of a country are ruled by the same set of laws pertaining to the issues like marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption, etc. India has a uniform penal code that applies to all kinds of crimes, and the same way, a uniform civil code would ensure that Indians will follow the same rules in personal matters. But do not confuse it with following the same religious ceremonies. All it means is that no matter which religion you come from and what rituals you follow, you have to get your marriage registered in the same way. You will register your marriage in the same office after having gone through your own set of ceremonies. The same goes for everything else. It will not interfere with anybody's religious practices. Hindu law had already been codified, and that too 6 decades back. So those who make the argument that the Muslim community is incapable of progress should eat their words, as Hindus have already shown that progress can and does move along with religion, not otherwise. In fact, if it does not move with progress, then all we have is a simmering bowl of stupidity and fundamentalism, which will not just consume itself, but also those who stand by and become mute witnesses. The same people who talked foul when a super regressive and a horrid law like triple talaq was being annulled are now making arguments opposing this already late UCC. This should have already been there. Only God knows what the Congress governments were doing. They were busy turning a certain community regressive by overturning judgments of the Supreme Court. We are talking about the Shahbano case here, where the Congress government, which had a supreme majority in the parliament, overturned a progressive law to appeal to a certain vote bank and compromised with the progressive ideals of the constitution. The same ideals that made them pass the Hindu Code Bill. The same liberal principles that are enshrined in our constitution in the form of Article 44 that hold those who run India with the responsibility to bring a uniform civil code. UCC is a positive reform which is being turned into a controversial one. How can those who beat the drum of women empowerment be against UCC? The Uniform Civil Code would ensure rights to women from all religions and identities. The Muslim women will be saved from the malpractices like polygamy, mutha marriages, etc., which treat them as unequal citizens. The property rights of all women will be protected, as they will be regularized and uniformly applied. Women's inheritance rights will be protected, and not just that, the inheritance rights of even their unborn child will be safeguarded. Women will also have the right to fair maintenance, no matter which religion or sect a woman belongs to. Indian women will have her rights and be equal in the eyes of the law. Will not the curtailing of polygamy be a call of freedom for those unfortunate women who end up in the clutches of irresponsible men? Men who do not care about the growth of these women and criminally treat them as nothing more than cattle they can exploit to bear kids from them. And why are these secular people so selectively secular? The then PM Nehru, who was too appeasing towards the Muslim community, he felt that they were not ready for any reforms. So he exclusively pushed for a Hindu code, a code that practically covers everyone except one religion. When will they be ready? Will they ever be ready is what we must be asking. To thrive, discipline is the most important marker of any group of people, and for a nation, it is paramount. Many of the Islamic nations of the world today have something akin to uniform civil code. If we take Turkey and many other nations, they have a defined minimum age of marriage. And if we look at Azerbaijan, the practice of polygamy is strictly prohibited. India's dream of becoming a global leader will soon be a reality. But how can we expect to be hailed by the whole world if we ourselves are trailing on such a basic social metric? The nations that we call developed today also went through a phase where they had to integrate conflicting customary personal laws into a unified structure. France and Germany went through it in 1900. We are already 124 years behind. In fact, now is the time when we come together as Indians and be willing to live as a single people who live by the same laws.